Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Sorry I'm a day late on uploading this one. I had everything planned out and then I just wasn't happy with what I'd shot and edited, so I just decided to start again. But what I thought I would show you today is, again, going off this topic that I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks about just sort of being yourself on the guitar, not worrying too much about gear and trying to discover things that are a little bit more off the beaten track just to help you develop your own sound and get a bit more inspired. I want to talk about a particular guitar that has really surprised me, totally unexpected, a guitar that I was really curious about, definitely one I knew could be really useful in certain situations, but one that I basically haven't been able to put down since I got it, and that is the Karl Longbottom Alpine Baritone. Now, as I mentioned, I am on the quest for tools that are slightly more unique, a bit more obscure, that are going to hopefully pull out different elements in my guitar playing. Whether that's a particular pedal or whether that's a particular guitar, this isn't necessarily a quest in accumulating loads and loads of stuff. It's just about finding the right stuff to do that particular job. And that's a big reason why I haven't been able to put this guitar down, just because sonically it has taken me to places that I really just haven't been before. And in this video I want to demonstrate why, if you haven't already considered trying a baritone or owning a baritone style guitar, why you might want to reconsider that and at least give them a go, because they are definitely way more versatile than you might think. So in terms of playability, a baritone is not a million miles away from a regular guitar. The main difference that you'll notice is slightly heavier strings and a scale length of 25.5 inches, which is just slightly longer than a traditional electric guitar. But other than that, the ergonomics are pretty similar. The other key difference with a baritone is the tuning. Whereas a normal standard tuned guitar is tuned to E, this is tuned to B. So it's a much lower register. But all that means is that sonically this sits in a very different place, but it sits perfectly between a normal guitar in terms of that tonality and a bass, which is a lot lower than this. So it's kind of that sweet spot in between where you can get some really great low end, but while still retaining some of that really nice clarity. So Karl Longbottom and myself have been friends over on Instagram for a little while now, and I met him for the first time at the Merseyside Guitar Show near Liverpool a couple of weeks ago, and I was able to play the whole range of guitars that Karl makes. He really does know how to make an amazing guitar, and you might have come across Karl's guitars before, because Dan Steinhardt from that pedal show has one of Karl's guitars and he features it on the show from time to time, and Karl is a great member of that community. So he's a name that I knew about for a while, but meeting him at the show and playing some of the guitars, if you've ever been to a trade show, you'll know that it's sometimes difficult to sort of hear the true character of the guitar, because there's just so much noise and so much hustle and bustle, and especially if you've been to the NAMM show, then you'll know that it's not the greatest place to, test out gear. So I was speaking to Karl, we had a really good chat, and he's kindly lent me a few guitars to kind of be the custodian of for a little while. So this isn't a sponsored video, but this is giving me a good opportunity to really put these guitars through their paces using my own setup, and I'm just going to talk you through my experience and why I would use and how I would use a guitar of this kind. You may have seen that I've been releasing some original music over the last few weeks, some instrumental guitar songs, just solo, me and a guitar, and if you haven't already checked that out, I'll put all the information in the description below, and thank you for all the support on those releases. But a guitar like this is just a perfect writing tool for those types of situations. I did a video last week about the tuning that I used in those original songs, and I tuned my acoustic down to D standard because, again, I wanted a bit more low end than a traditional guitar because, you know, I'm trying to fill a lot of sonic space with me being the only instrumentalist on that recording. And this would sort of take that to the next level in a really, really pleasing way, because you get such a full sound. You get a real richness from, you know, the low B and those sort of like heavier strings at the bottom, but you still retain some of that definition. And the pickups are a big, big element of that. So these pickups are Sunbear Baritons. So Sunbear Pickups, a great pickup designer here in the UK who's, you know, doing the rounds, I suppose. I've come across his work a lot, and I have friends who use his pickups and really, really rave about them, and I could definitely see why. Because with this kind of low-tuned guitar, you're getting so much low end, and the sort of consequence of that is that sometimes you're going to, I guess, you're going to lose a bit of definition, a bit of clarity. But the great thing about Filtertrons is that they are basically kind of like humbuckers, but with a lot more fidelity, I suppose. So they have a nice bit of punch, but they retain this kind of chimey quality, which just means with a low-tuned guitar, you're getting all of those benefits. You're getting some great note definition, and you're getting that really nice chime that brings it more back to the sound of a guitar and less like a bass. A really popular example of a baritone is one made by Gretsch, and as you may know, Gretsch are pretty much exclusively using Filtertron style pickups in their guitars. And it definitely seems like a winning combination, and this sits in a mix really well on its own, but also in the context of a track. And that brings me on to the second use of a baritone. So as you will have heard there, this guitar is a really valuable tool for just kind of writing parts, and it's a great session tool. Being a session guitarist myself, I would love to have this in the studio because it's just going to provide some sonic variation from a normal guitar, and it has a ton of really great character. It doesn't tread on the toes of the bass, but it can support the other guitars in a mix really, really well. It's not something that you would use all the time in the studio, but it's just one of those things where it can definitely be a real USP, and if you have a baritone, then it kind of sets you apart from other guitar players. It could definitely be the ace up your sleeve, if you like. So if you want to go down the path less trodden with gear and you want to find some more obscure and unique sounds to inspire you, then I definitely recommend checking out a baritone. You know, definitely check out Karl's. I will put all the information down in the description below, but if you haven't considered a baritone, then it's definitely one that you should have a look at, because I think you'll end up playing it a lot more than you think. I think that's definitely the struggle that people have with guitars, is that it's hard to justify a guitar if it's not going to be one that you're going to be playing all the time. And this isn't necessarily a guitar that you would use in every situation, but I definitely think that there's something very, very addictive about the sound of this. There's something so pleasing, so warm, so inspiring about it, that even just to have it at home, I know for a fact that you would pick this guitar up, or probably any baritone up, a lot more than you realise. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, this quick look at one of Karl's guitars. Like I said, I will be featuring a few more in some various different videos, over the next few weeks. Again, it's not to make it too gear heavy because I'm not a gear review channel, but I do think there are some really important qualities in some of these guitars that will sonically just give you a little bit more of an understanding of, you know, how you can apply some of these tonal characteristics into your own playing, where they might be useful for you, and just to give you a bit of context and a bit of, I guess, background on some of these iconic guitar shapes, sounds, and what they could potentially do for your guitar playing. So thanks so much for watching. I will have another video coming out next week. If you haven't already, do consider hitting the subscribe button in the meantime, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch you all soon.